So this is what it looks like when you have a 54-inch wide deck and the center blade is missing. That was 2 or 3 passes to get those 2 outside blades, the outer blades, to clear that very deep grass. The blade holder on the center spindle broke yesterday while I was mowing. I actually hit a rock and it broke. I did order the replacement part, and I'll include replacing that in this video. Well, this piece is garbage. I have to reuse this one. This should make it very obvious how that shaft is bent. It doesn't run true at all. Unfortunately, I don't have a shot press, so I'm just going to have to do this by any means necessary. Whatever I can manage. I need to get this bearing off without damaging it, because this is a good bearing. It's only a year old. Feels pretty good, and I want to reuse it. Okay, so the goal here is to support the inner race of the bearing on these two metal bars, which are supported by a couple of pieces of 6x6 that I have happen to have around cut 12 inches long. So the bearing is supported like this. And I'm going to use a steel hammer on the end of the shaft. And the reason I don't mind doing that, because it'll destroy the threads on the end of the shaft, but the shaft is bent and useless anyway. It's scrap metal, so I don't care. And let's just see how this goes. Not bad at all. The shaft is removed. This is the old bent shaft, and the bearing has been removed without putting any undue pressure on the ball bearings themselves. And the bearing feels pretty good in my hand. I think I'm going to reuse it. That was the goal. I'm going to remove this seal from the inside of the bearing. That way when I fill the spindle with grease, the housing, it'll actually get into the bearing. This is the outside, this is the inside. So I purchased this used shaft off of eBay. Looks to be in pretty good shape. I'll see how true it is once I get it installed and spin it. The process for installing the bearing on to the shaft, just the opposite. And I'm using a soft-faced hammer this time because I don't want to ruin the part. This really doesn't seem to be working. I'm going to have to try something else. Okay, I'll try using a brass drift on it, flat on the tabletop if I can. This way it's hitting directly on the shoulder of the bearing race. Few hits and rotate it. A few more hits. I just have to keep working it. So pounding on that to try to drive that shaft into the center of the bearing just wasn't working. I figured out I can use this ball joint tool. It's a ball joint removal tool and universal joint tool. And I think this will serve to press the bearing in. And Yeah, we're recording. I'm going to need some help to hold this somehow. Let me try this. Alright, I'm going to try this with the impact. Everything seems to be lined up. So after trying to pound it in and press it in with that C-clamp U-joint press, it looks like this. I had no luck. Somehow the inner diameter of this inner race is just a little tight for the outer diameter on the bearing surface on this shaft. So I'm going to just work it a little bit. By hand, just to see if I can clean it up enough to get that thing to fit. Cleaner. I'll go down to, oh, that was my finer grit, so let's just see if that fits. And I'm clamping it in this pipe vise, but it doesn't matter because this surface in the middle of the shaft isn't used as a bearing surface, whereas it doesn't even have to be a true surface. So let's see if this fits. I'm going to have to work on it some. It's going to take a bit. It really didn't take much work to get that to slide on there. I think this is going to work fine now. And it's seated all the way. Okay, so it's reassembled back to the point where I'm ready to install it back in the deck. Always a good idea to apply some never sees. That grease fitting was keeping the socket from going all the way over the nut. There. Never seize. Anti-seize lubricant. I always use this stuff when reassembling components on cars or equipment that could be prone to rusting or seizing up. Looks like we're ready to get mowing.